I've noticed that many of you want to connect your Photoshop to another device for AI rendering. Oh, I forgot to plug in this light. Today we want to focus on this topic. We want to connect our Photoshop to another AI device for rendering, and we want to fix every bugs you might encounter. Okay, before we start, to access the latest version of the plugin and access the new UI of the ComfyUI, you need to go to the manager and click on the update ComfyUI, and after that you need to go to the custom node manager and search for Nima NZRI, which in this case is my name. Anyway, click on the try update to make sure that everything is updated. And after restarting the ComfyUI, in the setting you can see a new option over here, which if you just enable it and pin it at the top, you can access the new user interface of the ComfyUI. After that, just search for Photoshop node. There's a new option in the context menu. If you just right click on it, you can see there is an option to install the plugin. Simply with one click, but it will only install it for your device. So in order to install it to another device, you need to go to your ComfyUI folder, and in the custom nodes folder search for ComfyUI Photoshop. You can see a folder here named install plugin, and in this folder there are just 3 ways to install it. Simply send this folder to your target device, open the folder, and you can do one of these 3 methods. You can double click on installer.py if you have Python, or you can install this CCX file using ZXP installer, or you can do it manually. Just find where you installed Photoshop, go to the plugins folder, and drag and drop this folder over here in it. Alright, let's get back to the main topic. I have 2 devices over here. You can even use a Mac OS device, there's no problem with that. One of them running the Photoshop and another one running the ComfyUI, and we want to connect them remotely. First, let's go to the Photoshop and check the settings. At the bottom of the settings menu, you will find an option called ComfyUI IP address. So you will need to enter the IP address of the device which running the ComfyUI. An IP address is like a device unique ID on a network. There are 2 kinds of IPs. Local IPs for devices within same network, global IPs for the whole internet. Here we use the local IP to let Photoshop and ComfyUI communicate on the same network. But how can we find a local IP? Simply go back to your ComfyUI device and open CMD or terminal and type ipconfig. Then hit enter and you will see a list like this. This will display the IPv4 address, which is the local IP of your device. Remember it, you need to put it in your Photoshop. Type it over here and press on the apply. Still not connected. This is likely because Photoshop can't access to your device. But why is that happening? Why our local devices should block each other? If you remember, when you're launching the ComfyUI, you will always see this message. But what is this IP address? Is this blocking our Photoshop? The answer is yes. This is an IP address for internal communication within same machine. When ComfyUI listens to this address, only the local machine can connect to it. It means if you install the Photoshop in that particular device, you will have no problem. But if you want to access with another device, your access will be denied. On the other hand, we have another IP called 0000. This IP essentially means that ComfyUI will listen to all devices in the same network. I will help you to fix this problem. People usually use 3 methods to run the ComfyUI. We need to add an argument. If you are using a stability matrix, just go to the settings, and for the listen argument, just type 0.0.0.0 and then press the save button. And now if you launch the ComfyUI, see that everything works great. And if you usually use terminal to run your ComfyUI, you can just go to the ComfyUI folder, which you can see the main.py folder, and type cmd here and type python main.py like always, but you need to add this argument --listen and the IP address that we set. But personally I will not use any of these 2 methods. It's much easier for me to just have a shortcut like this to open my ComfyUI. You can just right click on your shortcut and edit with Notepad and add this argument over here. That's it. Save the file and run your ComfyUI. After that, we can go back to our Photoshop and press on the apply button again, and this time all problems should be solved. But if you had any other problem again, you can run the terminal in your Photoshop device and ping to your ComfyUI device like this. Ping and then write the IP address. If you didn't have access, you should be able to see a message like this. But if connection was successful, like this, you should be able to see a response time, which in this case my response time is under 1 millisecond. It's almost like 0 millisecond delay. So we can see the web page over here inside our Photoshop, and then search for Photoshop plugin node, and then zoom on it a little bit and press on load SC 1.5 workflow. We are actually working on other models like Flux right now, but do not tell it to anybody. This plugin and everything in this plugin is just free. You can support me by like and subscribe just by one click. Thank you. This part is for debugging the main problems with the connections. The one key things that you need to keep it in mind is that this plugin is only supporting one user, one ComfyUI and one Photoshop users for connections. This means that every tab of ComfyUI which have the Photoshop node inside it is a user of this plugin. So when you have multiple tabs of ComfyUI, the plugin will only connect with one of those tabs. Actually, it will always connect to the latest web page which has been loaded. In this case, the right one is the latest one for me. If I just close it, you can see in the terminal it says that one user has been disconnected from ComfyUI. So it will remove that user from the list and will start communicating with other ComfyUI web pages, which in this case is the left one. And you know that there is no difference between the web page which you have inside the Photoshop and the web page you can have in your browser. There's actually no difference, they're just the same. I actually have one web page from my browser and another one in my Photoshop plugin. And if I just press on the render button, it will only communicate with one of them, like this. And if I just want to use my browser one, I just need to refresh this page by pressing F5. And this time if I just press the render button, it will with the new ComfyUI user, which in this case is the browser one. So you can just make it full screen and work with it. And whenever you wanted to just go back to your plugin one, which is a little bit more handy, you can simply close this one, and this time it will communicate again with the latest user in the list. And sometimes you get some error like Photoshop not connected. It means that you may be missing something, maybe you didn't start a plugin or something like this, and you are seeing this message 2 times, and that's because it is trying to send 2 messages to the Photoshop and it cannot find the Photoshop at all. And these 2 nodes are those messages. It will always trying to sync these 2 nodes with your plugin. And there's something that I bet you didn't know. ComfyUI has another debugging console inside your browser. You need to just press F12 and then press on this console button. And you can see a bunch of errors here, which in this case our node doesn't have any error. You can see 2 messages here. The first one is the connected to the server, which means the JavaScript file has been successfully connected to the Python server of the ComfyUI. And the other message named Photoshop connected means that Photoshop has been connected to the Python server, and Python server was able to send the message to the JavaScript manager. That's it, it means everything is working great. And look what will happen if I just close the ComfyUI server. You will get a reconnecting message, and you can see that the server is just trying to reconnect and trying, and any other nodes are just trying to reconnect. And the same thing is happening to the plugin. And that's just a normal thing, nothing to worry about. We also have a Discord channel, which I'm working on version 2 of this plugin, which have many other features. If you want to just test this version, you can join this Discord channel, or I will help you to fix every problem you might get in this plugin, and just keep yourself updated. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.